Hello and welcome to the center of it all. We're in for an exciting show today. We'll take a closer look at Governor Corbett's lawsuit against the NCAA, head over to Tussey Mountain All Seasons to see what's happening, and we head over to Mel Prosciutti's kitchen for a new Kitchen Encounters. All these and more coming up next on the center of it all. Well, hello there. I'm your host, Alex Rabb, and you're watching the center of it all. Not only is it a new day, but it's a new year, 2013. How about it? Are you still upholding your New Year's resolutions? Well, I hope so. John Stroh takes us over to Victory Sports and Fitness, giving us more tips on how to keep that going to the gym resolution.
We're all set to stick to that New Year's resolution. And the last time we talked about goal setting and getting in the proper frame of mind. And now it's time to get moving. And before we get started, there are some things we should consider. The first, we need to get an assessment from a fitness professional. And Rob Oshinsky at Victory Sports and Fitness offers one of the most thorough evaluations around.
About probably 10 or 12 years ago, I was exposed to another level of understanding and assessment that helps the fitness professional derive what really should be the base start for a program. And once I started implementing now with my clients, it was really an epiphany. So now it's standard process for us. Anyone that walks in the door is going to go through a pretty detailed assessment so that we know if some of the simplest, most benign exercises are in fact potentially dangerous for that person.
Once we've had a proper assessment, then we can think about how we want to exercise. And we've got a much better chance of sticking with an activity that we like.
At the end of the day, you've got to try in some manner to make exercise fun. And for the typical person who's going to be listening to the show, they're not going to wake up first thing in the morning and the first thing in their mind is going to be this overwhelming excitement about their workout for the day. So the question becomes is what can you do that you enjoy, either a lot or at least a little, at least enough to help you connect and identify with those goals that you've set. So it may be a group exercise session of some sort, whether it's an aerobics type class or it's a spinning class, or in like the case of some of the things we do here, like a group training scenario. But I think the first step is finding something that you enjoy.
Now, if a boot camp or a group exercise class sounds like a good fit for you, remember that you need to learn to walk before you can run.
I would say many group exercise classes are set up for someone who's intermediate to advanced. Most reputable fitness professionals will have some type of guidelines and either limit people within that class or not allow them to participate at all. So it's actually very irresponsible fitness practice to take someone and throw them right into an intense class. But most good people are not going to do that.
And if you still think that you can handle that sort of setting, Oshinsky cautions against it.
Think of our body from a growth standpoint, meaning we look at the big picture, but if you take it down to a minutiae detail and you think about cells and about tissues, cells and tissues take time to remodel. They take time to change and adapt positively. And there is no way a 40-year-old guy who hasn't done anything since college is going to walk into a boot camp or a group training scenario and just jump right into something that the folks in that particular group have been working at for an extended period of time. You're asking for trouble.
Remember, get a good screening from a professional, choose an activity that you like, and don't do too much too soon. And you'll be well on your way to reaching your fitness goals in 2013. For the center of it all, I'm John Stroh.
Thanks, John, and Victory Sports and Fitness for reminding us that staying healthy is a very important promise we can make to ourselves and keep as long as we live. But don't go anywhere. When we return, we dive into the details of Governor Corbett's case against the NCAA. Thanks for joining us on the center of it all. So are you ready to get down and dirty with the details of Governor Corbett's case? Ready or not, here it is.
State College and the Penn State community has been on a whirlwind for over a year now, and with the Commonwealth's lawsuit against the NCAA, the end of the ride appears to be a ways away. After looking over the complaint, here's what you need to know. The complaint states the Commonwealth, acting on behalf of the citizens of Pennsylvania against the NCAA for the sudden sanctions against Penn State, were made for the sole purpose of salvaging the NCAA's own derided public reputation. The suit also contends the NCAA to be a trade organization formed to regulate fair competition and protect student athletes. And according to Governor Tom Corbett, the NCAA must follow its own rules.
Just as it applies their rules to its member schools and their student athletes, so too should the NCAA abide by their own rules. The NCAA's leadership can't make up their own rules.
Those rules are listed in the NCAA manual. Nowhere in that manual is it stated that the president, executive committee, or board of directors have the authority to issue sanctions against another member. But rather, it does state only the infractions committee can issue sanctions, something that did not happen in the Penn State case, and why Governor Corbett calls the sanctions illegal.
After months of research and deliberation, the Commonwealth's attorneys and I have concluded that the NCAA sanctions were overreaching and unlawful.
While much of the complaint reads like a due process argument, the antitrust case arises from Penn State being threatened with the death penalty. The sanctions harm the citizens of the Commonwealth and punish Penn State without citing a single NCAA rule that was broken.
The NCAA has no authority and operated outside of their own bylaws with these sanctions that they brought. This was a criminal matter, not a violation of NCAA rules.
The complaint further states that the NCAA's anti-competitive acts were intentionally directed at a U.S. market and has had and will have an effect on interstate commerce. Therefore, the Commonwealth is seeking a permanent injunction of the sanctions, judgment of the sanctions to be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act, and cost of the suit awarded to the NCAA, as well as any further relief, something Senator Jake Corman says goes well beyond the football field.
Every game means people coming to this area. Now, for a bowl game, it's not necessarily, the travel agents all lose out. That's an impact on them. The sporting goods stores are selling whatever bowl game, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats. I mean, that's the lifeblood of those businesses downtown State College. So, that's all an impact. But, you take that in totality of 10, 20,000 people per week coming into this community, that's a significant impact.
The university has said it's committed to the sanctions, and the NCAA called the lawsuit an affront to all the victims. One can agree or disagree with the merit of the lawsuit, but why did Governor Corbett support the sanctions in the wake of the Free Report, a report he now calls incomplete? For the center of it all, I'm Andrew Callista.
Thanks, Andrew. Breaking it down like that makes it easier to understand, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that case. Now, don't touch that dial. We'll return with a tasty but easy to make dinner and our newest kitchen encounters. Welcome back. I'm Alex Rabb. It's that time again where our tummies start going crazy. How could they not? Our resident foodie Mel Prosciutti does it again. On this Kitchen Encounters, Mel shows us how to make an easy yet really delicious chicken and rice skillet dinner.
The holidays have finally left the building and we can all get back to normal. If you're like me, you could use a little kitchen relaxation. I'm not talking about not cooking at all. I'm just talking about a couple end of the busy workday meals that, well, almost cook themselves. Today, I'm going to show you how to make an easy chicken and rice skillet dinner a la Uncle Ben, and a maple glazed candied carrot casserole that's going to cook itself while I make the chicken. Let's get started. When I was a little girl, you couldn't pay me to eat a cooked carrot. But when my mother tossed them with maple syrup and melted butter, then roasted them in the oven, I couldn't wait to get to the dinner table. This recipe is so easy, it's not even a recipe. About the only trick to it is knowing how to cut the carrots. I've peeled 2 pounds of carrots today, and I'm cutting them on the bias. Cutting them on the bias just means cutting them on an angle, which gives them a larger surface area for roasting and caramelization. On the other hand, if you ever see a recipe that calls for coining carrots, all that means is cutting your carrots straight across into little coins. All of my carrots are cut on the bias, and I'm just going to simply season them with some white pepper and salt, about a teaspoon of each. I've melted 4 tablespoons of butter in the microwave. I'm going to drizzle that right over the top. And 4 tablespoons of the best maple syrup you can find. This is pure Vermont maple syrup. 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter of a cup. Just going to toss these ingredients around till the carrots are evenly coated, but they're going to get tossed a lot during the cooking process, every 15 minutes for about an hour to an hour and a half. So if they're not completely coated at the beginning, you haven't done anything bad. I've sprayed a 1.5 quart casserole with some No Sticks cooking spray. I'm just going to add all of my carrots to the casserole. I'm just going to pop these in a 375-degree oven for an hour to an hour and a half, and while they roast, I'm going to make my chicken. Uncle Ben's converted rice has been around for a really long time, and my grandmother used it all the time. Uncle Ben's rice mixes, however, weren't introduced until the 1970s. This one, 1972. In 1974, I got married, and by the 1980s, I was raising 3 kids, and Uncle Ben's long grain and wild rice mix was a staple in my pantry. In fact, it's my 3 boys who named this recipe Uncle Ben's Chicken. I'm starting with 3 large, meaty, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I've used kitchen shears to trim them of all visible fat. The next thing I did is I cut them in half lengthwise to make 6 portions. You know I don't like to handle chicken goo, so I've placed these inside of a 2-gallon food storage bag. After that, now I've lightly pounded these already, but you want to pound them all out a little. And the key to pounding a nice chicken breast like this is you don't want to smash it to smithereens. You just want to tenderize it. You want it to get to be to the point where it's just about 1/3 of its original size. Now what I'm going to do, which again is going to keep this pretty mess free for me, I'm just going to open up this bag with my shears. I'm not even going to have much of a cutting board to clean up. And I'm going to sprinkle the top surface of all these with a little bit of Wonder flour. All-purpose flour will work just fine. And I'm using a fresh grinding of sea salt and a fresh grinding of peppercorn blend. Regular salt and pepper will work just fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let these sit opened up like this for about 5 to 10 minutes. What that's going to do is allow all of this flour to absorb the excess moisture from the chicken, and when we put it into our sauté pan, it's going to give it a nice golden crunchy crust. I've melted 6 tablespoons of butter in a 10-inch wide deep skillet. And the skillet is kind of important to this recipe because the rice is going to be added, it's going to cook all in the same skillet, so we need a lot of room for that. I'm just going to place all of these pounded chicken breasts next to each other, floured side down in this skillet. Just give me a second. They stick a little bit to the plastic, but that's no big deal. 6 of them fit beautifully in here. Wipe my hands off just a little bit here. I hate chicken goo. Okay, once I get these positioned exactly where I want them, I'm just going to give the new top side a little bit more flour. No more salt and pepper though, because the seasoning packets in the rice contain salt, and if you add salt, you're just going to over-season. It's going to be over-salted. I'm going to adjust my heat a little higher here, and I'm going to saute these chicken breasts just until they're golden brown on both sides, about 8 to 10 minutes per side. Oh, my chicken is golden brown on both sides. It smells wonderful. I'm just going to add a cup of white wine to the bottom of this pan to kind of deglaze it. Yes, you can use chicken stock or even just a little bit of extra water, but it's the end of a long, hard work day. And if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for my chicken. Just going to let my wine cook for about 10 or 15 seconds. Now I'm going to add my rice. And this is 2 6-ounce boxes of Uncle Ben's long grain and wild rice mix. I'm going to add 2 4.5-ounce jars of pre-sliced mushrooms, undrained, all of their juices. Both of the seasoning packets, which is why we didn't season the second sides of our chicken, because there's a lot of bouillon and salt in here. Two cups of water. This is room temperature water. I don't add cold water. I'm going to adjust this heat to a simmer. Do nothing, cover the pot, and come back in 22 to 25 minutes, and dinner is cooked. Like I always do, a few days ago, I posted these recipes on my Kitchen Encounters website. What I wasn't prepared for were all of the emails and comments I got from people who wanted to share their stories and their family recipes for this beloved rice mix. To add this recipe to your recipe box, just go to my website.
It really is as good as it looks. Try making the dish yourself and upload pictures to let us know how it went either on our Facebook page or Twitter. For more recipes, check out kitchenencounters.typepad.com. We have to take another break, but when we return, we'll hit the slopes over at Tussey Mountain. Thanks for joining us as we wrap up the center of it all. Living in central Pennsylvania gives us the opportunity to take advantage of Mother Nature's gift to us, the fields, the streams, and the mountains. So I went over to Tussey Mountain All Seasons to see what's happening this winter. When the weather outside is frightful, the skiers and snowboarders feel delightful. Tussey Mountain provides seasonal entertainment for the whole family, and now all year round.
We have events and activities every season. Winter right now, we're at our bread and butter. You know, that's where we started. We love winter season, but it's grown from not just skiing, but also snowboarding and snow tubing. And we also have a lodge with a bar, lounge, entertainment going on in there. And we're really excited about the direction we're going in.
And that direction would be to have more events and activities added to each season, like snow tubing.
The tube park, we think, is a great thing for the community because a lot of people out there are a little timid or hesitant to try to learn skiing or snowboarding. It is a harder activity to learn, but snow tubing is something for everyone. It's a lot like sledding, but it's an inner tube, and you don't have to walk back up the hill. We have a lift line that lets you sit right in the tube and it pulls you right back up. It's a great way for kids to come out and have a birthday party or large groups, after-hour reservations for private parties. We found that people generally love it. You know, they come out in big groups and they have a ball.
But if you do have a desire to learn to ski or snowboard, you're in luck.
Yeah, we have a great snow sports school here. A lot of instructors, people that just love skiing and snowboarding, and they're great teachers too. We teach classes every day. We also have intramural programs with all the elementary schools, high schools in the area.
Tussey Mountain All Seasons wants to make you feel like you're home. The environment is fun and friendly, so you really do want to keep coming back for more.
You know, it's great seeing people come out here and become regulars. They bring their kids out. They start as young as 3 years old and put them in our Paw Prints program. Gets them a lift ticket, the lesson, and the rental equipment. And they just keep coming back for more. You know, it's not for everyone, but you see a loyal customer base develop out here.
Once the snow melts, Tussey Mountain switches gears into the spring and summer activities.
We have a big lodge here. We don't want to sit empty, so we have conferences, reunions, weddings, banquets, and it's a popular place. It fills up quickly.
And we can't forget about the fun center in the summer.
We have go-karts, mini golf, a skate park, driving range, batting cages, and a par 3 golf course. So that's usually busy as soon as the weather gets nice out. People come out here and they want to get their golf clubs out. So, we try not to stay dormant out here. We try to stay busy as long as we can for as much as we can.
Information on pricing, hours, or events can be found in one location.
TusseyMountain.com. We try to keep that updated with information as far as snow reports, snow conditions, upcoming events. Because we are weather-based, we always recommend people to call ahead, 814-466-6266, and just to make sure, with the weather, you never know, we might have to change our hours, but it's almost always updated on the website on TusseyMountain.com.
Don't forget about finding Tussey Mountain on Facebook and Twitter. Oh, and one more thing.
We're trying to improve our summer operations every year, and 2 years ago we put in a mini golf course. Last year we included the Mountain Dogs concession stand, and next year we're going to be unveiling our zip line.
Oh yes, he said zip line. A double zip line, in fact. So though you'll have to wait for the snow to melt before you'll be able to zip down the mountain, you can ski, snowboard, or snow tube down right now. For the center of it all, I'm Alex Rabb. For any inquiries about lessons, prices, and hours, go to TusseyMountain.com. Well, that seems to wrap up things for us here. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, though, please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. By staying connected, you'll be up to date on our high school sports schedule and so much more. Have a great day.